They stood in silence as the snow fell on the European front lines. The German scouts peered through their binoculars, confused. These weren't ordinary American soldiers. Their faces were painted. Their movements were quiet, deliberate, almost ghost-like. "Who are these men?" one whispered. What they didn't know was that they were watching a group of Native American warriors, descendants of fighters who once roamed the plains, now armed with rifles instead of bows, bringing ancient strength into the deadliest war in history. But what happened when the ancient warrior met modern warfare? Tonight we uncover the untold story of the Native American soldiers of World War II, a story that has remained hidden in the fog of time until now. The Second World War wasn't just a clash of nations, it was a test of human spirit. And among the millions who fought, more than 44,000 Native Americans volunteered. No draft, no promises, just pure loyalty to a land that had often betrayed them. Why did they fight? For many, it wasn't for medals or money, but for honor. Their elders told them that to defend the land was sacred, and so they went, from the Navajo deserts to the Pacific jungles, from the Sioux plains to the frozen forests of France. But little did anyone know that these warriors carried with them something no enemy could ever defeat: their language. Imagine this. In 1942, American intelligence faced a terrifying problem. Japanese and German codebreakers were cracking every message, every plan. Entire missions were collapsing. Then came a radical idea from an unlikely source: use Native American languages as a living, unbreakable code. The Navajo, Comanche, Choctaw, men who grew up speaking words no outsider could understand, became the invisible armor of the Allied war effort. Their messages zipped through battlefields faster than any machine. Even when captured, the enemy couldn't decode a single phrase. The Germans thought it was a new cipher system. In truth, it was older than the United States itself. But this story isn't just about secret codes. It's about identity, courage, and survival. Many of these men had grown up in boarding schools where their languages were beaten out of them. Now, that same language was saving American lives. Irony? Maybe. Destiny? Definitely. And yet the battlefield didn't care who you were. Bullets don't discriminate. Many code talkers died without ever being recognized. Others fought as scouts, using centuries of hunting instincts to track enemy movements. German patrols nicknamed them the Shadow Wolves. The Japanese feared them, calling them the ghosts of the jungle. Still, there was something deeper in their fight, something spiritual. Before battles, some warriors performed quiet rituals: a small prayer, a whispered chant, a handful of earth in their pocket from home. They believed that no matter where they fell, their spirit would find its way back to their people. And maybe that belief gave them strength, because their bravery became legendary. Commanders noted their discipline, their focus, and their refusal to break under fire. But here's the twist. While they were fighting for America, America was still fighting them. Many returned home to discrimination and silence. Their heroism wasn't celebrated, not until decades later. Why did the government keep their mission secret? And what happened to the men who carried this sacred code after the war ended? Stay with me, because what comes next will change how you see World War II forever.
When the Allied invasion of the Pacific intensified, the code talkers became the invisible heartbeat of victory. On islands like Iwo Jima and Guadalcanal, chaos ruled every inch of ground. Bombs screamed, jungles burned, and the ocean itself seemed to rise in fury. In that chaos, commanders needed instant, secure communication. Radios buzzed with static and panic. Then, a calm voice broke through. Navajo. Enemy advancing from the North Ridge, artillery ready. Within minutes, American guns thundered, and the attack was crushed. General Howard Connor later said, "Without the Navajos, the Marines would never have taken Iwo Jima." Think about that. A language once banned in classrooms helped win one of the bloodiest battles of the war. History's irony is cruel and beautiful all at once, isn't it? But beyond the codes in combat, these warriors carried a weight few could understand. Nights were long, filled with fear and the smell of gunpowder. They didn't just fight enemies, they fought doubt, exhaustion, and the ghosts of their ancestors whispering through the wind. Imagine being thousands of miles from home, holding a rifle with one hand and a sacred token from your tribe in the other, a feather, a stone, or a piece of earth. Some said it reminded them who they were fighting for. Others said it gave them courage when courage felt impossible. And yes, they laughed too. Between missions, they joked in their languages, confusing the officers. They probably think we're plotting to take over the base, one soldier laughed. Humor, the last defense against the madness of war. Even in the darkest moments, they found light. That's what warriors do. They survive, they endure, and they remember. Meanwhile, across Europe, Comanche code talkers played their part during D-Day, transmitting messages that the Germans never cracked. They were in the blood and chaos of Normandy, their voices steady as they relayed the coordinates that guided Allied troops forward. Imagine standing on that beach, bullets slicing the air, men falling around you, and still speaking calmly into the radio, knowing one mistake could cost thousands of lives. That's what heroism looks like, not in medals or headlines, but in the quiet, unflinching voice that says, "We go forward." But when the war ended, the silence returned. Their work was classified for decades. They couldn't tell their families what they'd done. No parades, no recognition, just an empty train ride home and a lifetime of memories too heavy to share. Some drifted into obscurity, others carried trauma that no ceremony could heal. Yet, their legacy didn't die. It waited. In the late 20th century, the truth finally emerged. The United States acknowledged the code talkers' contribution. Honors were given, stories recorded, and finally, their names were spoken with the reverence they deserved. Still, we have to ask, why did it take so long for a nation to honor the men who helped save it? Perhaps because their story reminds us of uncomfortable truths, that heroism can rise from the very people history tried to erase. The Native American soldiers of World War II didn't just defend America, they redefined what it means to be American. Their courage bridged two worlds, the ancient and the modern, the spiritual and the mechanical, the sacred and the savage. So the next time you hear the crackle of a radio or the echo of a war film, remember the voices that once spoke in shadows, voices that turned the tide of history, even when the world wasn't listening. If this story moved you, don't stop here. In our next video, we'll explore how forgotten heroes from across the world, from African-American tank crews to Filipino guerrillas, reshaped the outcome of World War II. Hit subscribe, stay curious, and never forget the warriors who spoke truth in